Are y'all looking for inexpensive, healthy, budget-friendly, under $10 dinners? Well, friends, I have 3 to share with you guys today. Welcome, y'all. My name is Heather. Thanks for joining me here at Finance Working Mama. If you watched my last video posted, which was a $40 meal plan for 7 days, I mentioned, if you didn't see that one, I will put it in the description below. But if you saw that one, I mentioned that I was going to post weekly about what we were making for dinner or having for dinner. Because I wanted to focus on using my pantry items as well as my freezer and fridge items that are currently in there. And the purpose for that is I have a big stock and I wanted to use a lot of that up. So I limited my grocery budget to $20 a week to ensure I get some fruit and veggies, fresh fruit and veggies for my kids, milk, bread, you know, sort of that staple that can't necessarily be kept for a long period of time. So I'm going to use those up. I want to share with you guys my grocery haul for the week, as well as what we ate. And I'm trying some new recipes. I'm utilizing the things that are already in my pantry, and I priced them out. So if you wanted to buy them for the following week or use that recipe, you can confidently say that it will be a $10 meal for your family, a healthy $10 meal. All right, friends, this is my $20 grocery haul from Aldi. I purchased a package of the baby carrots. My oldest requested some orange juice, needed a half a gallon of milk. Youngest one wanted some Rice Krispies. I needed some pancake mix, some cucumbers, strawberries, and spinach for their lunches. I spent a total of $17.73. That does include North Carolina state tax. So the first several days in the first full week of January, we ate up leftovers. I made quite a lot of food during New Year's and the New Year's weekend because we had guests over. So really Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we were eating up those leftovers, which was nice. I didn't have to cook. I just had to heat up. But the following days in that first week of January, I did start going through my freezer, and I found some pork chops that were at the back of the freezer that had been there for a while and needed to be cooked. Then I went into my working pantry and I found a box with 1 packet left of like the Aldi brand shake and bake and a can of French onion, fried French onions in the canister that were left over. There wasn't much left in there. So to use that up, I decided to get them and just crush them up and mix them into the shake and bake mixture. And to make it more flavorful, I decided to take some Dijon mustard and put it on the outside on either side of the pork chop, and then did the shake and bake mixture, and that was the seasoning for my pork chops, and they tasted really delicious. It was a good mixture. I would have never tried the French onion if I didn't have a canister that needed to be used up. So if you have a canister of the French onion, fried French onions, highly suggest that for adding into your shake and bake. It was delicious flavoring. Then I decided to go into my freezer in the house, and I found a bag of vegetable fried rice that really had been in there for a while and needed to be used up as well. So that was dinner for one night, and it actually gave us dinner and a couple lunches for my husband and I during the week. One of the recipes that I really enjoyed, and my family, it was kid friendly, they loved it, was a cheeseburger risotto dish. Let me share with you how I made that. Let's put together this cheeseburger orzo delight. Let's start with 1 cup of beef broth, 1 cup of dried orzo pasta, 2 garlic cloves, 1 small onion minced, 2 tablespoons of ketchup, 1 tablespoon of mustard, 1 teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce, 4 chopped pickles, 2 cups of shredded cheese, 1 pound of ground meat, and a tablespoon of tomato paste. At the bottom of this pan, I have placed 2 tablespoons of olive oil. You could use whatever oil you have on hand. And I'm adding 1 pound of ground beef. You could choose to use whatever ground meat is on sale or what you have on hand. I typically like to use turkey because it's leaner as well as healthier, but I didn't have any turkey in my freezer and I'm trying to use up what I have in my freezer. So ground beef it is. Once I get this all broken up at the bottom of the pan, then I'm going to take a very small onion and 2 garlic cloves, and I'm going to put it at the bottom of, or in this rotary blender or chopper that I call it. I'm not sure what the official name is. This makes the process go by a lot faster, easier, and no tears are shed. So I really enjoy using this, and it really minces up the onion really well. Again, it makes the process so much easier. I'm going to make sure that the onions and garlic is well incorporated with the ground beef. Let it soften and get translucent. And once it is all browned, that is when I'm going to add the rest of the ingredients to the pan. I'm actually going to add 1.5 cups of beef broth because I'm going to skip over a step, save a step, and I'm going to cook the orzo pasta in the pan with the ground beef. The instructions say to do it separately, but I'm going to save a step, which is the reason why I'm putting more liquid, which is 1.5 cups. I'm going to add a teaspoon of Worcestershire, a tablespoon of tomato paste, 2 tablespoons of ketchup, 1 tablespoon of mustard, and then you just want to do salt and pepper to taste. Once you've added all your ingredients, then you want to make sure you stir all of those delicious condiments that make a cheeseburger delicious very well within that onion, garlic, and meat mixture. Once you have it well stirred, then you want to top it, or actually place all of the pickles. I chopped up 4 pickles and then a few more for garnish later. Now you want to add in your orzo pasta, mix well, try to make sure that orzo pasta is well blended into all the liquid. Top it. I cooked mine for 15 minutes and it cooked that orzo pasta perfectly. I'm going to top that pan with the 2 cups of cheddar cheese. Now you could mix a cup in with the hamburger or the cheese or the hamburger mixture and then top it with a cup, but I just chose to put 2 cups of cheese on top of the hamburger mixture, topped it, let it sit for 5 minutes, and then friends, look at that. Isn't that a cheeseburger? It looks like a cheeseburger without the bun. I topped it with some green onion and some additional dill pickle, and I paired it with some steamed broccoli and cheddar cheese. It was delicious. Friends, I can't tell you how delicious that was. It really did taste like a cheeseburger. And it was all the things I had in my pantry. Most importantly, a lot of the ingredients, you probably have the condiments in your refrigerator already. I did the math for this. And if you wanted ground beef, that's going to be a little bit expensive and not on sale. I did all the pricing at Walmart on the Walmart app. And if you wanted to do ground beef and you couldn't find it on sale in Walmart, that would cost you around $11.18 for all the ingredients, minus I didn't add in the mustard ketchup because I figured you probably have a lot of those already in your refrigerator. If you wanted to go a little bit cheaper, which I would have chosen to use ground turkey just because of the health values of it, but I did not have any in my freezer. I couldn't find any, which I find so strange because I usually try to keep a good healthy amount of the ground beef as well as the ground turkey, but I didn't have any, so I used the ground beef. If you wanted to be one healthier and one less expensive, then you can definitely get all the ingredients for this dish for $9.42. Now, if you even want to go even cheaper and under $8, you can get the frozen turkey in the freezer department. And friends, it's $85.15. It is the same quality as the one that's fresh in the meat case. And that will bring it a total of $6.44. With that, you can throw in some steamed broccoli or another veggie on the side, or even fresh vegetables salad. That gets you all the way up to $10. And I do, when I am eating turkey, I will go to the freezing department first because that's about $2, $85.20, and it's actually the brand. It's out of Mount Olive, North Carolina. I've even visited that factory, the manufacturing plant where they do the turkey. It's the same turkey that you find in the freezer department, not freezer department, the meat department, unfrozen. It's cheaper to freeze it, ship it when it's frozen, and it's in the what they call, I think, a chub roll. It's more affordable packaging. So that's why the things are cheaper versus different. Don't let marketing fool you. It's a butterball plant. And this company, Carolina Turkey, gets their turkey processed at the butterball plant. So I'm just saying, sometimes if you do some research, you realize that the fresh case is just unfrozen meat. And just go to the freezer case and get the frozen meat. You get a better price for it. All right, so this isn't a dinner, but it is a breakfast. And it is a delicious breakfast. And the best part is you don't feel too guilty eating it because it is banana bread. And you're saying, Heather, banana bread has lots of sugar. Well, friends, I'm going to share with you a recipe that doesn't have one gram of cane sugar in it. And I promise you'll feel good about eating it. It will fill the belly, and you'll have 2 really good breakfasts for the week for at least my family of 4, and even probably some snacks for later. Friends, I am going to share with you a banana recipe from a website called 100 Days Real Food. And what I like about this recipe is, one, you should have a lot of these ingredients already in your pantry, somewhat, and it's a great way to use up bananas that have gone past their prime, but perfect for baking. And it calls for 3 bananas, very ripened. And I am fortunate to have 3 bananas, very ripened. Now, I can tell you in my house, my children prefer a banana that's a little bit more green. And once it starts getting the brown spots on it, they really don't want to have anything to do with it. It's a lot to do with the texture of a banana. And I'll be honest with you, I have to say I like a greener banana, or not as ripe banana than most. I know some really like a soft banana. Not us, or at least not me and my children. So obviously, crush the bananas, mash the bananas, not crush the bananas, into your pan. Looks like that, friends. It tells to obviously put all of your wet ingredients, your banana, your eggs, your vanilla, and it's calling for honey for this recipe. We're using no granulated sugar or cane sugar in this recipe, which is what I really like. All right. Good consistency right there I'm looking for. Let's go ahead and put in 2 eggs. 1, 2. 1/4 of a cup of yogurt. I'm using Super Zero yogurt, Aldi brand, plain. And this is not... Yeah, it is Greek. It doesn't call for Greek non-fat yogurt. It just calls for yogurt. I like to use non-fat Greek yogurt. So, 1/4 of a cup. The recipe also calls for honey. I'm actually going to use some of this pure maple syrup. With these recipes, I have learned on this website, you can use honey or maple syrup. Obviously, honey is easier to find, and honey is typically cheaper than all natural maple syrup. I actually got this on my trip to Michigan. It's called Michigan maple syrup. It's a whole lot cheaper in Michigan than it is here in North Carolina. So 1/4 of a cup. I'm going to use my spatula to make sure I get all the goodness. You probably hear like a fan or rumbling in the back. That is my oven. Just recently, we have an oven microwave combo. Just recently, our microwave completely just is not fixable. My husband is a big fixer. He can fix, I think, just about everything. It is not something that can be fixed. So the oven and microwave, shockingly, if you see my past videos, they're over, I think we figured out they were 20 years old, 22 years old. So they've done a good job. My husband's had to fix the oven a couple times. At this point, we are going to invest in a new combo. It is ready. We're ready for one. This cook is ready for a good new oven as well as microwave. The recipe also calls for 1/3 of a cup of coconut oil or any light oil. I have vegetable oil. I don't have coconut oil. I haven't started using coconut oil in my cooking yet. I used to. I dabbled in it and then just stopped. But we're going to use good old vegetable oil. If you don't have vegetable, anything, a light oil will work. The last liquid is vanilla extract. I don't know if it's like in your area, but when vanilla extract, pure vanilla extract goes on sale, I buy it up because it is expensive. It's gotten quite expensive. You can get the imitation, but let's just be honest, we're not sure what they put in there. We're going to get this all mixed well together before going on to the dry ingredients. I don't know if you guys see my apron. It is a Buc-ee's apron, but it is a particular Buc-ee's apron. It's from Texas, the Buc-ee's in Texas. Now I did not go to Buc-ee's to buy this. We have a very good friend here in High Point. He lives in Texas. His business is the factory design center is all in Texas. And they have a showroom here in High Point. And they're great friends. And he was asked by Buc-ee's to design, I guess, Buc-ee wear for Texas. And because he's an artist, his name is Kelly, because he's an artist, of course, he's going to have color. And actually, we have quite a few of his paintings in our dining room area. Lots of vibrant colors is what he's known for. So it is not the typical Buc-ee's items. And so I wear it because one, it's his design, and two, I just really love Kelly. He's an awesome artist, very talented and very sweet. All right, that looks good. Let's start with our flour. It calls for 2 1/4 cup of whole wheat flour. I just have what I have on hand, which is unbleached, all-purpose flour. I'm going to be all-purpose. Maybe we'll see. Maybe it'll turn out all right. I tell you to not stick the measuring cup into the flour and scrape it off. They tell you to use a spoon and spoon it into your measuring cup. So, guys, I am not a huge baker, and they say baking is a science. So I'm going to stick to what the experts say. All right, let's do this without making a mess. So we need up to, and then you scrape it. Remember, 2 cups and then 1/4 of a cup. My 1/4 of a cup. All right, it says it needs 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt. And then 3/4 of a teaspoon of baking soda. And you're like, 3/4? Yeah. And I actually have a measuring spoon that's 3/4 of a teaspoon. When I got that little set, well, when am I going to use 3/4 of a teaspoon? Well, the Lord knew what he was doing. He was like, you need one. Because you're not a baker, Heather. All right. Mix that in together. All right. You can probably use a blender, a hand mixer. I'm not going to do either. We're just going to mix it with our hands, friends. I want to make sure I got all the ingredients. So we have flour, baking soda, salt, bananas, plain yogurt, honey. Use the maple syrup instead, 2 eggs, oil, as well as vanilla extract. So yes, I always do one more run through in a recipe, especially baking, so that way I don't miss an ingredient, because I am notorious for missing an ingredient. This is actually coming together pretty good. I don't know if you guys can see the batter here. Oop, let's leave it in the bowl. So for Christmas, my husband and friends were kind enough to gift me some new kitchen tools that I have been wanting. And these stainless steel bowls with the rubber on the bottom is pretty nice. I have thoroughly enjoyed using them since I got them for Christmas. All right, that should do it. All right, I'm gonna take my ingredients. I'm using a glass. Didn't really say glass, metal. This is what I typically use. Can I do like banana breads and such? Well, I can tell you one thing. Oh, you know what I was gonna add that I didn't think about? It doesn't call for it. But I typically add it, and I forgot to add it. Should I add it? I think I want to add it. Okay. It is not in the recipe, but I have learned for breads, if you make banana bread or any kind of like what I call sweet bread and it comes out dry, I have learned if you put at least 4 ounces of applesauce, then you'd be amazed how moist that bread comes out. So I'm using just unsweetened applesauce. If you have like unsweetened, you can use sweetened, I guess, or just be sugary, or unsweetened cinnamon applesauce, I think that would be good too. So I'm just going to go ahead and put it in there. You'd be surprised on how moist this makes your sweet cake or sweet breads. I wonder if this is going to affect. Friends, this is why I'm not a baker. This is probably not going to turn out great, meaning coming out of the pan. I wonder if I should spray it again. I don't know. Or, you know what? We're just going to see. But, whatever. Get that all mixed well into the batter, because I would rather have more moist of a bread than a dried one. No one wants dried bread. With the applesauce, it might take just a little bit longer to cook, but the key, I think, the key is if it says, for instance, to bake for 25 minutes. My oven currently, I'll get a new oven and then I have to learn the oven again. My oven cooks pretty fast. This is convection. So if it says 25, I will check it at about 18 to 19 minutes. And as long as it isn't really jiggly and that it comes out pretty clean, I'm going to pull it out because it's going to continue to bake in your baking container once it's pulled out. That way you won't overcook it, won't come out dry. But with applesauce, it might take a few more minutes longer. So it's really, when you do a recipe and you're working in a different oven or in your oven, you just might want to check it. Don't walk away from it, is the key. We're going to put this in the oven for 350 degrees. It says between 40 to 50 minutes. I'm going to check it at the 35 minutes and see what it looks like. All right, friends. This took 350 degrees. It took me in my oven, it took about 50 minutes. So my oven cooks pretty fast. So I'm just going to let you know, keep that in mind. If you are going to cook this recipe and your oven doesn't cook as long, check before taking it out. There we go. And it came out of the container perfectly. So let's do the taste test. Look at that. Yum, 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 yum. Let's see what it tastes like. Still warm. Very banana flavor. Not over sweet. Have you ever had banana bread that's like really, really sweet? This is not sweet. It's perfectly sweetened for my taste anyway. This is a winner. Absolutely winner. If you're looking for a really, really sweet recipe, this is not the one. If you want a nice balanced banana sweetened recipe, this is the one. Gotta try it. It's definitely good. I'm assuming that you have flour and baking soda in your pantry. And all the other ingredients, I'm assuming maybe you wouldn't have it in your pantry. So that's how I came up with the price of $7.03 for purchasing unsweetened applesauce. And I did it in the smaller containers, mainly because if you're not a big applesauce eater, then you don't have to worry about wasting the money of opening the jar and never eating the rest of it. And then you have more little containers to use for baking in the future. And yes, that applesauce makes it so moist and so delicious. But I threw in the 6-pack small applesauce, which is about a half a cup is what you need. And then a small container of non-fat Greek yogurt, as well as honey, just in case you didn't have honey. In your cupboard, you have that and stored, and then some bananas. With all of that, friends, that's around $7 right there for a good breakfast. And even less if you had some of those ingredients already on hand. My last recipe, this was just so comfort food. And I know y'all might be like, ugh, what, Heather? Yes, it's collard potato soup. I said it, collards. And many of you are like, I don't like collards. Well, friends, if you don't like collards, that's okay. You can get a can of mustard greens. You can get a can of turnip greens. You can even do spinach. And if you don't like any of those greens, just get a can of green beans. You can't go wrong with green beans. Everyone loves green beans. But I will put the recipe in the description below. But it's collard potato soup. But I did some additions. We're a carnivore family. We like our meat here in the Cross House. So I went to the freezer and found some some chicken sausage. And I added a can of fire roasted diced tomatoes because that was in the pantry. I just felt like it needed some tomatoes, other than just collards and potatoes. So I added those two components to it. With all of that, I went on, again, the Walmart app, and I looked up the chicken sausage, which was going to be $5 and some change. If you don't care about that and you want to go cheaper, it would be cheaper to go to a smoked sausage, which I think even would be delicious with that smoky taste to those potatoes. So good. So if you did the chicken sausage, that's going to put you around $10.13. If you do the smoked sausage, which on rollback this week, at least for now, the Great Value brand is under $3. That's going to put you guys about $8.59 for that meal. So definitely under $10. And if you go around to the discount bakery rack, I'm pretty sure you can find some bread for $1.50, still making it an under $10 meal. Friends, it was delicious. It made a lot of soup. It can definitely get you one solid dinner as well as lunches during the week, or 2 solid dinners, whatever you choose. It was good. Everyone loved it. Even my husband, who's not a collard fan, he really was just like, I can't really taste the difference. That sausage and the seasonings just make the whole soup dynamic. So even if you're not a collard fan, You'll love it. I would highly suggest you use the already spiced seasoned collards because, again, that just ramps up the flavor, ramps up the seasoning. I will put it in the description below, but you have to try it. It's so good. Collards and potato soup, friends. Let's put it together. And these are the ingredients: 3 garlic cloves, 1 medium onion, 2 potatoes medium, 4 quarts of chicken broth, diced tomatoes, any kind, a can of seasoned collard greens, apple cider vinegar, red pepper, black pepper, smoked paprika, or just paprika if you only have that, and then some sausage. I'm using just this apple chicken Gouda sausage that I had in my freezer. Now let's put this in the crock pot. This is about the size that you want your potato to be cut. Again, 2 medium potatoes is just perfect for this recipe, and you could add more if you want more potatoes. More the merrier, I say. Then you want to add in about 16 ounces, 12 to 16 ounces of sausage. Smoked sausage, turkey sausage, whatever sausage you can find. Now you want to take that onion, mince it with the 3 garlic cloves, and again I'm using this wonderful little rotary chopper, makes it so fast, and also some diced tomatoes. Now I will say, in the description below I'll have this recipe, but it does not include the sausage or the diced tomatoes. I felt that it needed it. You want to add your can of seasoned collard greens. You want the seasoned collard greens because that brings more flavor to your dish. Now you want to do 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, a half a teaspoon of black pepper, and then a half a teaspoon of red pepper. That's right, a half a teaspoon. And then 1 teaspoon of the smoked paprika. If you don't have smoke, regular paprika is just fine. And then 32 ounces of chicken broth, which is about 4 quarts. You could use the bouillon, whatever, just as long as it has a chickeny flavor. And I think you could even use water because there's so much flavor in the sausage as well as the collard greens that it makes the dish delicious. You can put this on low for 8 hours or on high for 6 hours and just let it cook slow and slow. Now friends, again, I added the sausage as well as the diced tomatoes. The recipe did not call for that, but hey, we're meat eaters here in the Cross House, and I just think those 2 ingredients just made this a complete dinner, 1 pot meal. The longer you cook it, the better the dish will be, friends. Trust me, this was a filling, hearty comfort food. And as you can see, I just put it with some crescent rolls that I found in the freezer, and that was our meal. I did top it with a little Parmesan cheese. That's just as another add because I found it in the fridge and it needed to be used up. Friends, that is a wrap for the first full week of January here in the Cross House. That is what we enjoyed for dinners and even some breakfasts. And that was my small grocery haul that I shared. I got under $20. So I met, at least this week, I met my challenge. Join me next week as I share another week of what we're eating with budget-friendly meals. I'm going to try to keep it definitely under $10. Friends, thank you so much again for joining me. If you haven't already, please subscribe. We'd love to see you in the next video. And make sure your family stays safe and most importantly, encouraged.